Hey everybody, how you doing? I always wonder how loud I am. It's Rosanna here, and I am Rosie Glow, and welcome to an energy update. Apologies for the slight lateness in human time. I have to say that time is doing some wonderful things around bending and stretching and rearranging. And what happened earlier today as I was listening to some of the updates and kind of seeing what others are feeling, because I don't know about you, I have been feeling so heavy today. Like yesterday was an interesting kind of realignment, and then today I just felt like lead through the hours of the early morning from about 4 a.m. onwards. There's been a lot of processing going on. And if you're not aware of what's actually happening, we are going through another wave. So that means we've got a solar flare activation. So there's another wave of consciousness that's shifting, and that means purging. Okay, so whether you are physically purging or you're energetically purging, the purging is happening and it is affecting us on the physical. Aluna Ash has been talking about that quite a lot. And really, when we drop density, this very much relates to the full moon that's actually coming up, but when we drop density, we can fly higher. And there is this ironic awareness that we actually do need to descend in order to ascend, as my lovely friend Ben reminded me recently. So many of us stay in the Vata energy of the head space, and we're like road runners about a whole meter off the ground, never quite managing to materialize anything because we never root, we never ground, we never earth the energy that's flowing through us. And that's why it's so important to drop out of your head, out of your mind, into your heart. And as you drop into your heart, you're then able to access your earth chakra activation, your connection to the ascending earth paradigm, to start to grow things in the physical realm. And this is what we want. We want to learn that we are energy beings in physical bodies. We're here to create in the physical. But in order to do that, we have to drop from us all the blockages, all of the blind spots, all of the stories within our coding that says that we're not as powerful as we actually are. So if you follow my work, you'll know that I work as a multidimensional success coach, and I claim that we are co-creators of our reality. We are the source of our creations. I say I am the source of my creations. I am the creator of my own reality. And I had such a huge epiphany about 4 hours ago, maybe a bit less than that, which I've probably been wondering about for, well, at least 15 years, maybe longer than that. Like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And I'll explain a little bit more in a minute, but I'm not an astrologer. I do all sorts of lovely readings. I'm an intuitive, but what I would say to you at the moment is the Crystal Kingdom is holding the keys for us. And I've got here a piece of rose quartz. I've also got a piece of peacock ore, which is blowing me away, and a piece of obsidian, I believe this is, because this is going to help you to feel grounded and safe and protected. And one of the things that I'm definitely seeing through this wave, because the wave is taking us into the ascension portal, and we have a full moon this coming Monday. It's about 9:30 a.m. UK time. I'm going to be doing a full moon meditation at 8 p.m. UK time on the Sunday to lead us into this portal that I was told about at the last new moon. I was told about on the 30th, 31st of May. Saw this big full moon with a rainbow around it, and it was a peacock ore rainbow. It wasn't like a human rainbow as we know them here in the UK, in the world, in this planet. And I was just told by this voice, the portal is complete and we are ready to go into it, but we cannot take our density with us. We cannot take our old pain stories with us. And there are lots of technologies out there that will support you to shift your mindset, but ultimately you have to make the decision that you are willing to let the pain stories go. And I know this, right? And yet, discovering even this weekend my own resistance to dropping some of the pain stories that have been carried in my blood, in my DNA, in my bones for so long. Like the way that we honor our ancestors is to keep their stories alive. But actually, as we're growing and evolving, we have to take the best, leave the rest, and remember that the pain stories are not worth keeping alive. There is no benefit to holding on to those old stories anymore and keeping the pain alive so that we don't forget, in a way of honoring what they went through. It's time now to dissolve that and to move out of pain into love. And that's what we're being invited to do. So this as heavy and as dense and as difficult as it is to actually be feeling into what's going on right now, take heart, because I was given a lot of insights this previous weekend at the Sacred Medicines Retreat that if you just trust that the pain isn't endless, that the density clearing isn't endless, and what you're doing is you do dig right down to the very bottom of your bucket, your pit, you will actually find that there is just indescribable joy that is available to each of us. And I would recommend that you use crystals to support you to remember some of your divine wisdom, because different teachers that I work with, and I've got some notes here for everybody, are really talking about the fact that we are activating our light bodies fully. And to activate our light bodies fully, welcome whoever's joined, that actually means 144,000 dimensions of our being. Each one of us as a fully activated light body is 144,000 dimensions integrated. So that's a lot of different fractions of yourself that you have to get on board. And again, I was reminded that when you're seeing resistance outside of you, there is still a part of you that is holding some receptivity to that resistance. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing it outside of you. So bless the fact that everybody, especially those that seem to be against you, are actually aspects of your being saying, hey, I'm not in alignment. Can you come help me get in alignment? Okay, that will really help you move out of duality into unity consciousness. Welcome those who are joining. And that's why I wanted to come on and do this live stream, because usually I'm so like on it, clear, like focused, channeling easily with grace and ease. And I've really been challenged by the last 36 hours or so. Like they really took me into the deep again, and remembering the evolution that's possible. So if you follow Rosy Glow work, you'll know that Rosy Glow is the frequency of divine grace. And by that, I mean the power of revelation, of divine insight, of those aha moments and epiphanies that allow you to see something in such a way that has bothered you to this point that you're able to easily let go of the story around it, gracefully, forgivingly. And as a result, you can open to the gifts that can come through from that challenge that has challenged you for so long, finally being seen for what it really is. And I'm actually going to give you the example of my blessed and beautiful daughter. So there have been all sorts of issues in our relationship, all of her life, partly due to how she came into this world in terms of our early connection, her father and myself, and all the stories I basically told her as she was growing up, because that's what happened. And we know we have diagnosed mental health issues that we're working with, and we have a relationship that is a very challenging mirror at times. And it's so funny because people think, oh, I must have this idyllic relationship with my daughter because I've got all these wonderful insights and help other people so much. Nah, man, I face my shadow with my daughter. There's undescribable love there too. But this is the place where I have felt most powerless to serve, the place where I felt most useless to be able to actually be in and of service and to actually feel effective in what I'm doing, because what I've seen is my own pain body projected back at me. And any parent who has been challenged to see the pain in themselves mirrored in their children knows what I'm talking about. So sensitive souls, I'm a sensitive soul, my child is a sensitive soul. I know lots of people are sensitive souls and they have children that are sensitive souls. And then what we do is we beat ourselves up for the less than ideal conditions that we brought our children into, whether that's lower socioeconomic opportunities, whether it's an unhealthy and unstable relationship with self or with our partners or with life, or not knowing what we want to do for ourselves, not knowing what we want to do for a career. We have all of these things that play out, and we can end up really being narcissistic. And this is something I just want to own, because I think it will help others to look in the mirror too, and to feel so bad all the time for all of the pain that we're inflicting on our loved ones, namely the next generation, because of our own ignorance and because of our own inability to provide something better, because of our perceived shortcomings. That instead of actually being able to make the most of this moment and do the very best that we can, we're beating ourselves up all of the time and going, oh, I'm such a terrible parent. Oh, I've done all these awful things. And whilst you're lamenting about the past, you are not in the present. And what our children want is for us to be in the present with them now. They are incredibly forgiving. They're incredibly resilient. But if you keep harping on about the past and all the things you did wrong and needing them to validate you, needing them to reassure you that actually you are a good person, that you are worthy of love, which, by the way, I see a lot of people going into parenthood. This is why I do all the fertility work that I do. And sorry if this is a sore spot for you, but I hope it will open to a revelation for you, as it had for me, that we have so many of our own unmet needs, that we want to have babies in order to feel the love that we did not actually feel when we were growing up from our parents and our loved ones. And this is big, because we do not want to be bringing people onto this planet with that intention in mind. Bearing in mind, if that is what happens, you will grow, both your souls will grow, because you have elected that. And certainly, this is part of my story, but it's a painful way to grow. And when I see, for example, relationships coming to an end and parents having to make very difficult decisions, and also being very concerned about how the parent is going to use the child, the other parent is going to use the child potentially to manipulate and control, and all sorts of, porn games, basically, using the child as a pawn, then we can get really stuck in all the what ifs, and the things that we kind of see are inevitably going to happen. And we wish we hadn't created that. But we're not looking at how we can buffer the fall, how we can actually be of service and not allow things to build up and to become more and more unhealthy. And that is our journey when we're going through the valley of death. This is our journey when we go through the dark tunnels that we don't know how we're actually going to get through. Very important we realize we have the resources. Anyway, okay, when you create an alignment, this was the epiphany that happened for me. When you create an alignment, so yesterday we both went to see our wonderful chiropractor, then everything that's out of misalignment comes out. So that'll be toxic thoughts, toxic emotions, toxic, all sorts of things. And it's called a healing crisis. So whether you go for reflexology, acupuncture, Reiki, cranial osteopathy, however, whatever your thing is, and if you're working with me and you're doing emotional mental detox, or you're doing any deeper coaching work with me, you're going to face your shadow. You're going to have to purge it. And what ends up happening with this is it feels very uncomfortable when it's coming out, because you're hearing all the old stories that are in your cellular memory and in your programming working themselves out. There was just one thing that was said to me that really triggered an awareness that to this point I have been blind to. And that was the pointing of the finger, which was, it's in your subconscious. You don't realize you're doing it. To which I'm like, hold on a minute, I'm a master of working with the subconscious. That's what I do. And then I realized today that, of course, what was being said was whatever was being projected at me was my subconscious when my child was in her formative years, that she absorbed as truth and now projects back to me. So for any of you parents who have challenging relationships with children that are over the age of 7, for example, remember that what they're doing is they are projecting back to you whatever you felt about yourself and you perceived about yourself and the people around you before the age of 7, before they were 7. So it's usually the last 3 months of pregnancy through to the first 6 years of life that we're in a primarily highly programmable brainwave state, the theta brainwave state, where we're just imitating what's around us, right? So we take on the truths as they are projected to us, how our people around us look as though they feel, how they, what they say about themselves, how they show up, whether they are stressed, whether they are scared, whether they are confident. All of that will be building a program for them about what the key qualities are that they need to absorb. And this was what actually happened for me, was that awareness that it was like, okay, actually what is being shown to me is what I planted. And that's where you go to, I did create this, right? I created this. And that is where you're capable of having a huge breakthrough, a revelation. When you're looking at a situation, you're going, I don't want this. Why is it like this? Then look again, take a deep breath in, take a step back, because what you will see is that actually, whether you like it or not, you did contribute to it, you created it. And if you created it, you can uncreate it. But you have to bring love and forgiveness to it. That's where the magic is. So this is essentially what this time is about for us. It's the opportunity to look at, and this is particularly now, like 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, this time period is bringing to light all the places that we don't think that we contributed, where we are victims. But actually, if we want to take our power back and feel powerful again, we are going to have to own how we contributed to the situation. Now, if you can take that on board, you will fly. And that is the point of this wave, if you like. It's to take you under. Like, it's not for you to surf, it's for you to go under, right to the bottom, the depths of your being. And through that, discover the treasure that's there that you think is like where you don't want to go. And then you can bounce off the ocean floor, boom, and go up and just jump through the portal, which is the rainbow portal, the rainbow flame portal, into the co-creation reality that you would like to create. So the multi-dimensional reality you would like to create. And this is the invitation. So what we're going to be doing with the full moon meditation, 8 p.m. on Sunday evening. Please remember you have to subscribe for that. So actually, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please, 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 will you do it now? I'm counting on you because you're helping me to grow this tribe. And it is very exciting what we're doing and what we're connected to. I'll just mention Blue Avians now. And yeah, basically, if you just look on my Facebook, I'll put the link here as well. You've got, a payment link, and it's £11. So it's very affordable, and it's going to be planetary healing, a personal healing, and a co-creation for the future that we are envisaging. We want to co-create. So we're going to build our personal paradise on a feeling basis and then activate the portal and jump through it. Okay, a few things that we want to get here is, remember what's coming up for you now is where you feel powerless. So just be open to the lessons, no judgment. Remember, your breakthrough will come from understanding how you co-created this. And with our children in particular, it's everything that we believed about ourselves that we then projected onto them, that they then absorbed as truth, and they now mirror back to us. If they're younger than 6, then remember you can undo it as you're working and own things without them needing their approval, without them needing them to kind of validate you, because that's not their job. It's your job to validate yourself, and they can reflect that to you. Very important rule of parenting, and that's solar plexus work. We've got to dump. We're dumping the trash before we're jumping for joy. That's what I'm seeing is coming up at the moment. We are activating other dimensions of our being, so we can fully activate our light body, and that is when your 6-pointed star Merkaba, which is your light body, it's the star tetrahedron that's known as Metatron's cube, becomes a diamond shape. And that diamond shape is what you travel through. But you always have a sphere around you. And that sphere is what allows you to dimension travel, time travel, alternate reality travel, you name it. And, you know, we're used to going up and down and forward and backwards. But now you can just go outwards from one dimension to the next. It's not forward and back. It's concentric circles. Very interesting. Spheres, 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 spheres. You'll get it. I think Pluto's in Capricorn, which is these heavy burdens lifting, but we have to see them fully first. That's what I wrote. That's what came to me. So the astrology here is heavy with a purpose, because it is like being willing to do that deep digging that will allow you. It's not pleasant whilst you're kind of finding things along the way, but there really is treasure at the bottom. If you do that, you're going to use that treasure to then ascend, and that's what we want. So the resistance to ascension is within us if we're seeing it around us. So you've got to love all of the parts of you that actually are resisting, as in showing up as resistance around you, because they're just bits of you that are scared of fully integrating. They're scared of being annihilated. Very interesting. What else? Oh, hilarious. So as I was listing stuff, the song I Release Control just came out of nowhere and it was just playing through my headphones, and I could not work out where it was coming from. So this is a huge message for you, is if you want things to shift, you have to be willing to let go of being in control. It's only the mental body that seeks to control in order to feel safe, and that is the programmed self. This is the thought processes, the thought patterns that we created in the early years of our life, when we formed these neuro pathways that aren't necessarily very accurate, but they keep firing up whenever we see anything on the horizon that reminds us of what we've been through in the past. It's really time to change that. And if you are interested in changing it, then you can start to get to know my work a little bit better with the full moon meditation on Sunday. But I have one space left on my Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me course, which ironically was supposed to start tonight, but 3 of the 4 people that are signed up actually couldn't be on the live session, which is how I've ended up being here with you tonight, because it's really important to have this conversation. And we're going to be starting in 2 weeks' time. So if you know you would like to jump on board, you've got the opportunity to join us. It feels very much like this group, which we meet on Wednesday evenings, 8 o'clock, and the course takes about 16 weeks to get through. It will totally transform you from the inside out. So it's phenomenal if you want to do the deep diving, so you want to get out of your head into your heart, but you don't know how. That's what the Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me course is about, because it will strip away all of the conditioning very lovingly to support you to take a stance as your authentic self. And yes, that will be starting in 2 weeks' time. So I'm seeing very much the core wound is around confidence and believing in self, that things can really change. One of the things that's come up in my life is something that has blown me away as an opportunity that I actually have to act on very quickly. And it's the culmination of the vision I first had when I was pregnant with my daughter, when I was 6 months pregnant with her. And my first business is called Enjoy Yoga. It's based in Croydon, but we are going through a huge leap, and we're having to step well out of our comfort zone. And to do the things that we're being asked to do now means to believe it before we see it. And we're all game on that. So I'm inviting you to join me to believe things before you see them. Remember, that's what we're going to be doing with the full moon meditation on Sunday. So follow the link for that. It's on my website. By the way, my new website is awesome. Thank you, Matt. And I love it. So check out rosieglow.com. You can join me on Rosanna Callier-Bexos on Facebook, or Rosie Glow on Facebook, or Rosie Glow Facebook page. Why not both? Instagram too, and of course here. So it really helps me if you subscribe, if you like, if you comment. All of that's beautiful. And if you know that you're not really ready to go for deep diving, and the full moon meditation sounds great, but you want more, then the in-between space is called Co-Creation Success. And this is my liberation from limitation starting point for people that are newer to my work. It's a 6-week course starting the 18th of August, 7:30 p.m. UK time, runs for 6 weeks, and I'll be live with you, taking you through how to harness your mental body in the most magical and creative way possible, so that what you are unconscious of control of, you can actually master, and then see what else needs to happen, so that the other 95% of the time, the rest of you isn't like running renegade and rebelling against what your conscious mind wants. For now, if anyone has any comments, can you let me know? Because I'd love to know what is going on for you. Feel free, so live chat, if anybody wants to ask any questions, I'm very happy to intuit. See, oh no, where have I gone? No, don't do that. Yeah, so just give you a moment if you have got any questions. But if you know, some of the symptoms that are going to be going on for people right now are going to be feeling very tired, feeling very emotional, feeling heavy, feeling burdened. Remember what I said, you have to see the burden that you're carrying before you can actually release it. So be willing to look at things that you haven't been willing to look at before. Be willing to accept however you feel. Like, I've just wanted to crawl under a rock today. I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to share with you the prayer, which I haven't gone live on today, but I feel like it's very relevant to what we're saying. Let me read that to you, and then we can bring this to an end. Where are we? So it's now the 12th, isn't it? Got any questions? Any lovely beings? No? Okay. Charlotte. So, good morning, diamonds. So what about when it's clear? The fear is valid, and loving it up won't make it disappear. We know the Jedi mind tricks of the monkey brain that argues for not taking risks and staying the same. Misalignment only gets worse with time. So take a breath and step back. Look again through divine eyes. Connect with the spark in your heart, the divine hotline. I like that one. That downloads miracles, that light the dark, bring from the depths what torments and scares, and clean up your attachment to drama and nightmares. What is the feeling you seek to achieve? Let this be your beacon that illuminates all you need. Yes, we each face trials as we align with grace. Now rewrite the doom story into a spiral of joy. I am my own medicine. I am confidence in a can. I am in full alignment with my divine master plan. I am that I am. So remember, fear is false evidence, false emotion, false expectation appearing real. And what I'm saying here is, what about when it's clear the fear is valid and loving it up won't make it disappear? I'm particularly thinking about people, because I've got several clients at the moment who are basically leaving abusive relationships and there are children involved. And it's very difficult when you know they're going to go through a lot, and that the reasons they're scared, they have valid reasons to be concerned, because they know what their ex-partners are capable of. They've seen evidence of it. They've seen how it's damaging their children. And sure, we all have our blind spots, but this is a big thing when it happens. And so acknowledging that there are real concerns there, but the false emotion around it, or the false evidence around it, is that we are powerless. Because we play into all of these stories. We play into the victim, the triangle, right? The drama triangle. We play into it all of the time by virtue of the fact that we will play one of the roles. And we do need to be firm, and we do need to have boundaries. And this is not something that generally we do if it hasn't been done to us. And if we're in an abusive scenario, then you know that you're not great at maintaining boundaries, because you wouldn't be in that situation in the first place. So, we know the Jedi mind tricks of the monkey brain. That's the conditioned self that argues for not taking risks and staying the same. Stay where you are. At least you know the devil that you're dealing with. Don't leave. It is all going to get worse. Misalignment only gets worse with time. So take a breath and step back. Look again through divine eyes. That whole taking a breath and taking a step back, that's a lifesaver. It really is, every moment. So where are we? Through divine eyes. Connect with the spark in your heart, the divine hotline, literally straight up, that downloads miracles, that light the dark. Bring from the depths what torments and scares, and clean up your attachment to drama and nightmares. What is the feeling you seek to achieve? Let this be your beacon that illuminates all you need. Yes, we each face trials as we align with grace. Now rewrite the doom story into a spiral of joy. I am my own medicine. I am confidence in the can. I'm in full alignment with my divine master plan. I am that again. I am that I am. One of my clients told me today that her son came up to her and just said, "Mummy, repeat after me. I am pure love. I am deeply loved by my mom. I am deeply loved by my dad." And I just thought, wow, yes, these are the messages that need to go deep under the age of 6. So please remember what you're saying to your kids. Please remember, it's so, so important. And if you need some crystals, want some crystals, I purchase ethically sourced crystals from a lovely place, and I do sell them along with my wonderful ceremonial grade cacao. I have kids cacao and also the lovely Gavin's Cacao Love. And yeah, I'm here to serve in the heart-centered way to remind you of your power as being co-creator. And I occasionally forget, right? But when I remember again, it's a very wonderful and powerful thing to be able to shine the light again. And I reckon tomorrow is going to be the start of something fresh, baby. So I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to wish you all a really beautiful and blessed night's sleep. Sorry, there's more messages coming through. So remember to set your intention before you go to sleep, to be surrounded by your higher frequency guidance system, your angels. Put yourself in a sphere. Command where you want to go. You want to go to the highest frequencies and dimensions that you can, where you can learn how to support the co-creations that are most aligned with your soul here on this physical plane, on the earthly plane. There's no goofing off anymore. Everything we do is important. We do it consciously, whatever it is. And it's a joy to do it that way. So thank you for taking some time to be with me. I wish you a really pleasant evening and lots of love. Hang in there. Remember, you're not on your own. Remember, the crystalline grid beneath the surface of the earth is there to hold you. You can feed off it. You can give to it when you've got a surplus of energy. Just don't forget to connect to it. And remember, our beautiful planet is so compassionate. It's a very interesting thing, sacrificing ourselves to our service, and martyrdom. Martyrdom is a form of self-harm, right? Bottom line, okay? It is a form of, it's a form of manipulation and control is what martyrdom is, right? But sacrificing ourselves for our service is a willing thing that we do at times, because we know we need to put that extra effort in. We know that but that reward, you know, that effort now is going to bring this reward, and it's something we do because we are here in service to it's not service to self, it's service to others, but we have to learn to maintain ourselves in order to be in service to others and not get destroyed by overgiving. I'm really learning to balance that and to give to myself more so I can give to others from a stronger place. I've been learning that lesson for 20 years, but I am getting better and better at it. So I wish you the best. Thank you for subscribing. Do check out my Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me program. I'd love to have you on it if it's calling you. Like I said, ultimately, it teaches you how to live in your heart and how to let go of the stories that prevent you from doing that. And it's my pleasure to share it with you. Namaste. I'll see you at the full moon. Be really sweet with yourselves. And this eclipse corridor is another cleansing, which I'll talk about on the moon. Bye for now.